Haribol, namaste. Welcome to Yoga Kirtan Hawaii's Experience Meditation class. I'm your host tonight, Mahabhagavat Das, and later on my wife Radhi Shamdasi will be joining us. So thanks very much for coming. So Yoga Kirtan Hawaii, you can find us at yogakirtanhawaii.com, and obviously you've already found us on Facebook, and you can also find us on Instagram. So we're Yoga Kirtan Hawaii is based on Oahu, Hawaii, and we offer programs, classes, events, including Hatha Yoga, Kirtan, meditation classes, yoga wisdom classes, and vegan dinners. Unfortunately, with the with the pandemic, there is no vegan dinners, so we'll have to wait for those. You know, it was looking kind of promising, like things were looking good, but now the number of cases is up, and I'm sure there's not going to be any vegan dinners for a while now, or in-person events. So all events are free or donation-based, especially, of course, when they're on Facebook Live. And we're currently holding quite a lot of programs on Facebook Live. There's some kind of activity, a kirtan or a hatha yoga class, or a experience meditation evening, or a Bhagavad Gita class, or just a live kirtan. There's generally something happening, once or twice a day. So you're welcome to please watch these events. So Yoga Kirtan Hawaii is the outreach arm of an organization called the Science of Identity Foundation. And the Science of Identity Foundation was founded by my spiritual master, my spiritual teacher, Jagat Guru Suraswarupananda Paramahansa, who's a disciple of His Divine Grace, Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami. And they're coming in a long line of spiritual teachers known as the Brahma, Madhva, Gaudya, Sampradaya. So a Sampradaya is, of course, a Sanskrit term that means a disciplic succession, or a lineage, or a tradition. So they're coming from in a very long line of spiritual teachers, where spiritual teacher realizes the teachings and then passes them on to their student or disciple. The student or disciple then understands and realizes these teachers, and in turn passes it on to their student or disciple. And it's very much like a mango, like this yoga wisdom and the different meditation practices that we'll be teaching, coming are very much like a very valuable mango being handed down. And each time the mango is handled, it gets a little bit sweeter. So hopefully you'll enjoy your evening of hooking up or connecting up with as much as you can to this lineage. So the program tonight, we're going to be teaching 3 types of meditation: kirtan, deep peace breathing, or with the Goranga mantra, and also Japa meditation, which is chanting on beads. And this will be followed by a short yoga wisdom class that I'll be giving, and then a little more kirtan just to wrap up the evening. And so we should be all done by no later than 8:30 p.m. So hopefully you'll stay with us. If this is your first time watching one of our programs, welcome. I hope you appreciate the evening. And if you're someone who's returning or has perhaps been doing meditation for many years, please participate with us in the different meditation that we'll be doing. So a little bit about kirtan. So kirtan is the chanting of transcendental sound vibrations, which are known as mantras. So mantra is a Sanskrit term and comprised of 2 parts: man, which refers to the mind, and tra, which means to draw away. So a mantra is a spiritual sound vibration that draws the mind away from this material dimension, this temporary material dimension, to the eternal spiritual dimension. which is full of, which is known as Satchitananda or Satchitananda, which is Sat is eternity, Chit is knowledge or cognizance, and Ananda is bliss. So these transcendental mantras will pull your mind away from this temporary material dimension and onto the eternal spiritual dimension, where we are full of knowledge and full of bliss, transcendental bliss. So the mantras themselves are either the names of the Supreme Person or words spoken by him or about him. And these mantras are like a lifeline that we're being thrown or given, that we can actually grab hold of, and we can actually be pulled by them into the spiritual world. It's like the inhabitants of the spiritual world are throwing us this lifeline, and we can grab a hold of it and be pulled up there. Or they can also be likened to transcendental waves, like the sound is like a sound vibration or a wave, and we can ride this transcendental sound vibration wave back to the spiritual world, which is known as Vaikuntha, the world of no anxiety. And we're all experiencing how this world is currently a world of anxiety, especially during the time of this COVID-19 pandemic, particularly where we may feel we're taking our life in our hands when we go to work, or if we're even able to work, and if we go shopping or just engage in any kind of activities, particularly if you're in a high risk category. And so and of course so many people have lost their jobs, they have insecurities about their income and the future, and so these meditation processes, this meditation upon the transcendental sound vibrations or the sacred sounds, are actually an opportunity to let go of all that anxiety and then enter into the world of the spiritual sound vibrations, which is a world of Vaikuntha, or no anxiety. So I would ask you, while we chant the different mantras we're going to chant, that you focus your mind upon the sound of the mantras. If you find your mind beginning to wander, that's okay. Just try and bring the mind back to the sound vibrations, and rest your heart and your mind in them, and just take shelter in them. It's just like as if you're leaning up against a big tree, and you can just take shelter in them, rest within them, bring them within your body and your heart and your mind. So Kirtan is done in a call and response manner, and my wife Radhisham Dasi will be leading, and I will follow. And so when I chant the mantra, you can also chant it. And we're going to be doing what mantra are we doing? So we'll be doing the mantra Madana, Mohana, Murari. Madana, Mohana, Murari. Madana, Mohana, Murari. So this is my wife Radhisham Dasi, and she'll lead us in a wonderful kirtan.
Madana, Mohana, Murari. Madana, Mohana, Murari. Madana, Mohana, Murari. Madana,
So now we're going to do the deep breathing class, and this is obviously a breath meditation. And so please, be aware of how you're sitting. Sit comfortably with your, your back comfortable and legs crossed if you can do that, or just put your legs in a way that's comfortable. And have your chest open, perhaps your hands on your knees or wherever is comfortable. So close your eyes and just become aware of your breath, your inward breath, your outward breath. So just focus your mind on the breathing process. So inward breath, outward breath. And while you're doing the breathing, just relax your feet. Just be aware of relaxing them and letting the tension go. Your lower legs, the calves, just relax them. Your thighs, your stomach. We can hold a lot of tension in our stomach, so just relax the stomach. Your chest, your arms, shoulders, neck, your face, and your head. So just try and focus the mind upon the inward and outward breath, and just let the tension go from your body. So draw the breath in as deeply as you can. Like usually we tend to breathe very shallowly just within the chest. We'll try and take the breath down to below the navel, or what's known in Chinese medicine as Tangen. So we'll add the sound of the Goranga mantra. So Go, Ra, Anga. So as you breathe in, just say the Go, Ra, Anga in your mind. So don't say it out loud. Just as you breathe in, say it within your mind. And then on the outward breath, we'll say it together. Go, Ra, Anga. And Radhi Shyam will lead us in this part of the meditation.
Ooh.
So this breath meditation you can do in the evenings or when you wake up or any time. If you're riding on a bus or any time you've just been a little stressed or just wanting to do some meditation to relax. You can do this breathing, and the physiological process of the deep breathing will help still your mind, and then focusing upon the sound of the Goranga mantra will be very relieving. So now we're going to do some Japa meditation, and Japa meditation is done on beads, and unfortunately, of course, I can't give you beads virtually. So if you have a set of beads, or if you just have a necklace or anything like that, you can just use those. And if you'd like to get a set of beads, you can email us at Yoga Kirtan Hawai'i at gmail.com and just give us your name and address, and we'll send you a set of beads. So please feel welcome to do that. So this, the kirtan that we did is a group meditation practice. Or of course you can do it on your own, just chanting the sacred mantras or the sacred sounds out loud. And the Goranga breathing was, although we did it as a group, it's generally an individual practice. And similarly, this Japa meditation is also an individual practice. And it's done on the beads. And so this engages, in addition to the sense of sound, our hearing ability, it also engages the sense of touch as we chant on the beads. And the way that it's done is that we chant, starting on the head bead, we chant the mantra, and then we move to each successive bead, and we use like this, the pointing finger that we use to point at people. We don't use that finger, we just use the thumb and the third finger, and we hold the beads, and we can just sort of move them, and then you sort of roll on to the next bead. So the mantra we'll be chanting is Gopala, Govinda, Rama, Madana Mohana. Gopala, Govinda, Rama, Madana Mohana. Gopala, Govinda, Madana Mohana. So there's, on this set of beads, I have 54 beads, and sometimes a full set of beads has 108 beads, but 54 is just fine to use. And as you go around to the end, that's right around, that's called one round. And so the idea is, with Japa meditation or any kind of meditation practice, it's good to be regular, to do a certain amount of meditation practice each day. It's like a spiritual practice. So, and it's good to do, particularly good to do Japa meditation early in the morning at what's known as the Brahma Muhurta hour. It's a very auspicious time, very much in the mode of goodness. Things are kind of still before we head off to work, and things become a bit more passionate. And so the morning is a very good time for spiritual practice, but we can do our Japa meditation at any time. And so it's good to be regular. So, to set yourself a minimum number. Perhaps some days you might do more, but it's good to set a minimum number that you can conscientiously do each day. And you can just begin with 1 or 2. So we'll start chanting and we'll do a full round together. So again, the mantra is Gopala, Govinda, Rama, Madana, Mohana. So we'll get started now. Gopala, Govinda, Rama, Madana, Mohana. 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 Gopala, Govinda, Rama, Madana Mohana, Gopala, Govinda Rama, Madana Mohana, Gopala, Govinda Rama, Madana Mohana. Haribo. So now I'm going to give a yoga wisdom talk.
I'll come back.
And just want to turn the So this is a pretty complete evening, this experience meditation program where we teach the 3 kinds of meditation, and then we also introduce you to the topic of yoga wisdom. So before speaking and trying to share with you yoga wisdom, I'd first like to offer my respects unto my spiritual teacher, Jagakuru Siddhasarupananda Paramahansa, who's given me this great gift of yoga wisdom. And I'd like to offer my respects to all of you. Thank you for joining us and listening. So we've been engaging in different yoga practices. So there's different kinds of yoga. The word yoga means union or to link up, and so specifically to link up or achieve union with the Supreme. And so generally people think of yoga as Hatha yoga, which is the exercise yoga, but this Hatha yoga is actually just a preparation. It's one of the limbs of what's known as Ashtanga yoga, or Asta meaning 8 and Anga meaning limbs. So Hatha yoga is one of the 8 limbs of the Ashtanga yoga process, and it's to help the body to be healthy and in preparation for being able to engage in the meditation practices and of the Ashtanga yoga process, which is generally speaking a silent meditation process. So Hatha yoga, of course, is very helpful and good, and it can be done without just as physical exercises for physical health, or it can be done as a practice to prepare oneself for engaging in the other limbs of Ashtanga yoga. And of course, while one is doing Hatha yoga, there is breathing and the focus on the breath, and so that helps also to steady the mind, again preparing the mind for the processes of Ashtanga yoga. So, within this world, we experience union with others, and this is a type of yoga, right? We experience union with other living beings, our spouse, our children, our parents, our friends. Otherwise there's a connection, right? We experience a connection, and we can find much happiness in this loving union or relationships with others. For example, a mother finds great happiness in her loving relationship with her child, with her newborn baby. Or husband and wife may find a wonderful loving relationship where they're achieving union together. Sometimes it's said that the husband and wife are 2 halves of the one body, with the wife being the better half, as it's said. And so we can experience so much happiness in this in relationships with other living beings, other living entities. So one can only imagine the happiness and bliss that one can find if one is able to achieve union or link up with the Supreme, the source of all the living beings, the Supreme Brahman, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, if one is able to link up with Him, the source of all the material and spiritual worlds, one can only just imagine the amount of bliss that one can experience. So we can experience so much happiness just linking up with another person in this world. So we can try to appreciate the amount of happiness and bliss we can experience by linking up with the Supreme Person, to achieve actual union. So, but to understand this idea that I'm communicating, we have to first understand, some basic points about our identity, who we are. So, the first step in this realization is in yoga, is the very beginning foundational building blocks of yoga wisdom, is to first understand, well, who am I? And so in Bhagavad Gita, in every fourth Sunday of the month, I give a Bhagavad Gita class. And in the very beginning of Bhagavad Gita, in chapter 2, Krishna establishes, he first teaches the basic ABCs of spiritual life. And this very first point is to teach Arjuna. The Bhagavad Gita is a conversation between Arjuna and Krishna. Krishna taking the role of, or being in the role of spiritual teacher, and Arjuna being the student or disciple of Krishna. And Krishna first educates Arjuna about who he is, that he's not the body, that when we're not the body, we are spiritual in essence. We are an eternal spiritual being. The Sanskrit term is Atma. So we are an Atma, like a little spiritual spark, a spark of life. Like this body is just dead matter. When it's earth, it's made of various chemicals and earth and water, and being the blood and air. There's lots of space between it all. I'm told that if you get a really strong microscope and start looking at the body, you just see all kinds of space. There's all kinds of space between all the atoms that are spinning around, So anyway, there's lots of space in there. So and there's fire, the fire of digestion, and heat, and so this is the nature of the body, and it's made up of various limbs. But you are actually not this body. You're spiritual in essence. And you can experience this, that you can see that this body changes. While you're within the body changes. We change from, as Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, from Kaumaram, Yavanam, Jara. We go through youth to maturity and then to old age. And but still, we're the spiritual spark. We feel the same. We're the witness. We're watching this these different bodies as they come and go while we are within this one particular body. And we can experience also, just as a practical level, we talk about my body, right? We don't say me body or me hand or me foot. It's my hand, my foot. And we can experience that, we can even lose a foot and get an artificial foot. We can get an artificial leg, or artificial two legs and artificial arms. But still I feel the same. Even though my body is lessened, I feel the same. So, we are spiritual in essence. We're not this body. And the symptom of the presence of the soul within the body is consciousness. Right? So we're conscious of our body. Like we're conscious if you can touch, move your big toe and touch. If you've got a shoe on, touch the inside of the shoe, or if you know, or touch the ground, rub it, you know, you're conscious of that. You're aware of what's going on with this body. And as soon as the soul or the Atma leaves the body, then we are just left with, you know, a lifeless hunk of matter that immediately begins to decompose and break down. As soon as the soul leaves the body starts to decay, and it needs to be dealt with very quickly, particularly in a hot climate. Otherwise, it just, you know, turns into a you know, a stinking, rotting mess. So it has to be, you know, quickly dealt with. But you are not this body. So you are like the driver. Like you have you have a car. Probably own cars, or certainly go in cars, and you know, you are like the driver of the car. The body is like the car, and you are like the driver, and you're taking the body here and there, you know, wherever you're choosing to go. And so we have not just a gross physical body made of this earth, water, fire, air, and ether, or made of different chemicals, flesh and blood, and you know, the body in many ways, it's just like you know, it's like our skin is like a leather bag, and inside this leather bag there's bones and blood and urine and stool and pus and so on. And of course we make great efforts, particularly many women make great efforts to make the body look nice. And of course there's nothing wrong with this. We should try to make the body look nice. We should try to have a pleasing appearance to others. But this beauty is only skin deep. Once you go below the skin, it's like, oh my God, you know, if somebody scratches their face, or they get, you know, shot by a bullet, or they get cut by a knife, it's like, oh my God, you know, is that what's inside there, you know? Like a woman's beautiful face, it's like, it's only skin deep. So this is kind of an illusion of material nature. Material nature makes something look so nice, but actually the reality, once you go a little bit deeper, is quite shocking. And of course this material body is very temporary. So we have the gross physical body, but we also have a subtle body. And this subtle body is made up of the mind, which is like the stream of thoughts and feelings and emotions that are constantly passing us by. You know, it's like the mind it's a bit like watching a movie, you know, like we have a TV screen here, a smart TV, so like you know, you can sit and you can watch things on the TV, and it's a little bit like the mind is like that. It's like a movie playing, and we're watching it. We are the viewer of the movie of the mind. And sometimes it can be quite a disturbing movie. It's always going all over the place, jumping all over the place. And so in addition to the mind, the feelings and thoughts and emotions, we have the intelligence. And the intelligence is finer than the mind, and is able to sort of sort through the massive amount of material that's always coming into the mind, what's coming to the mind through the senses, and just our thoughts and feelings and emotions, and the intelligence is able to sort through it and like, oh, focus, okay, focus on this, you know, and the analyzing ability that we all have. And we also have what's known as the sense of self, or the false ego, and this sense of who I am. And it's called false ego because we identify ourselves as being the body, whereas in reality we're not this body. This body is temporary. It lasts for at most, generally speaking, 100 years, if you're lucky, or perhaps you're unlucky to last that long in the body. Generally speaking, the body becomes quite very difficult to reside within as one grows old. But in any case, we have this identity that I'm the body, I'm a man, I'm a woman, I'm 60 years old, I'm 50 years old, I'm Caucasian, or I'm black, or I'm Chinese, what my nationality. Oh, I'm American, I'm Australian, I'm a Kiwi, I'm from New Zealand. I'm not, my wife is. Anyway, sorry, that's just an example. But we have this idea of who I am based upon the characteristics of this body. But the reality is, no, you are not the body. This body is temporary. You are eternal spiritual soul. You are Nitya. Nitya means eternal. So you are eternal. So, or Sat, Sanskrit term for reality or truth. And Asat means not eternal, not true. Right? So eternity is the true reality. Everything we experience in this world is temporary. You are eternal. So this means, eternity doesn't mean 50 years, 100 years, 200 years, 500 years, 1,000 years, a whole millennium. No, eternity means there is no beginning and there is no end. There is just eternal existence. And so our existence within this body is temporary. It's fleeting. It's very passing. And we get so caught up in it as though it's like it's everything. But actually, it's very temporary. So it raises the question of, how do I use my time within this body? And I'll come back to that point in a few minutes. So understanding that I am a spiritual spark, that I am spiritual in essence, that I'm not this gross physical body, I'm not this subtle material body of the mind and intelligence and false ego, that I am spiritual in essence. The second part, so this is known as my essence. In essence, I am spiritual. So the second part of what's known as the science of identity is that I'm not the Supreme Spirit. I'm not God. I'm not the Supreme. I'm a spark of God. I'm a spark of the Supreme. But I'm very small. I'm minute. I'm a part and parcel. I'm like a ray of sunshine emanating from, particle of sunshine emanating from the Supreme Sun. And I'm dominated. And we can all experience how we are dominated. We're dominated by various natural and social forces. We're dominated by our body, right? Our body forces us, we have to go to the bathroom when we need to go to the bathroom. I have to walk standing up on my 2 feet. My body perspires. So I'm not in control of these things. I'm dominated by these. So I'm dominated by the body. I can be dominated by other people in their bodies. They can dominate me and control me. And I'm controlled by the various laws of society, but I'm controlled by the natural laws, like the day, the night. At day I do certain functions. At night I do certain functions. I have to sleep, and so on and so forth. And dominated by the natural forces, like it rains or there's a hurricane. So I'm not in control. I'm the dominated part and parcel. And so, but there is a Supreme Person, and so my function. So once I understand my essence, and I understand my position, my position is that I'm the dominated part and parcel. I'm spiritual in essence, but I'm not the Supreme Spirit. Rather, I'm the dominated part and parcel of the Supreme Spirit. Then the third aspect of the science of identity is to understand my function. So understanding my essence, understanding my position, well, what is my function? So I mentioned that we are eternal. So what is my eternal function? Right now, my function, or what's known in Sanskrit as Dharma, well, my function, my role, what do I do in my life, it's all based around my body. What gender I am, what my job is, what my position in life is, whether I'm a student or whether I'm married or whether I'm retired. We go through different phases of life. These are known as ashramas. So we go through different phases of life, and I have an occupation. I'm a business person, or I'm a school teacher, or I'm a doctor, or I'm a laborer. I'm, whatever it may be, whatever our particular occupation is, I have my different duties and responsibilities, or my function. This becomes my function in life. I'm a parent, I'm a mother, I'm a, whatever it is. Whatever we do, whatever our function in life is, it's all based around this body and our position. But as I've described, that this is temporary. This is temporary. This is not eternal. This is a temporary function. And so then understanding that actually I am eternal spirit soul. I am not this body, and I'm not the mind, and my position is being I'm the dominated part and parcel. I'm spiritual in essence, but I'm not the supreme spirit. So then what is my function? So understanding this, so these points I've made, so my function is to actually link up in yoga or union with the Supreme Soul, with Krishna, the all-attractive person. So this is my function. So and we are actually like little, we are little life particles, but the nature of this little life particle of the soul is to love and to be loved. This is the desire of every living entity. We want to love others, and we want to be loved by others. And so this loving tendency that we have should be directed towards the Supreme Soul. And if we're able to develop our love for God, then our love will spread to others. And if we don't actually love God and connect our love up with God, so we may love others, but actually we're really loving their bodies, and it's very self-centered. Right? I love you, but only if you love me, and only if you do the things that I want you to do for me. And hey, you're not giving me enough love. I'm not happy. My relationship with you, you're not giving me what I need. You're not satisfying my desires. So this is when love is based upon the body. It's not actually fulfilling. It's known as karma or lust. Right? I'm the center, and you exist to serve me. But actually, this won't satisfy us. We have a desire for perfect love, for perfect union, for yoga with the Supreme, because we are spiritual in essence. This is the natural function of the soul. Is actually the Atma, is to actually love the Supreme, to love the Supreme Person. And if we develop our yoga wisdom, our spiritual understanding of who I am in essence, that I'm spiritual in essence, and we develop our love for God, then that our love will naturally expand to all our brothers and sisters, to all the different spirit souls, to all the living entities. And we'll be loving others, and others will be loving us. So Krishna, the Supreme Person, will reciprocate our love. He wants our love, and this is our function. So if we engage in loving relationship with Him, then He reciprocates. So this, in this current age is known as the Kali Yuga, which means the age of quarrel, chaos, and confusion. And so the easiest method for us to attain this state of yoga or union with the Supreme is to engage in these different meditation practices that we did tonight, to engage in Kirtan, or the breathing meditation, Japa meditation, to study the yoga wisdom, to attend yoga wisdom classes and so on. But actually the most important thing is the process of hearing and chanting the transcendental sound vibrations. And this will actually help you to realize this yoga wisdom of who you actually are. So we should appreciate that this human form of life is very special. It's an opportunity to inquire into the meaning of life, to answer the questions that we all have of who am I, why am I here, what is the purpose of life, and why am I suffering? We're all suffering various miseries. What's known as the threefold miseries of miseries caused by my body and mind, miseries caused by other living entities, and miseries caused by natural and social forces. And we experience different kinds of anxiety. We worry, will I get what I want? And if I've gotten it, we worry, will I lose it? And then, when I've lost it, I lament. And of course, there's much more things to lament about than just having lost some stuff. We lament, of course, about many things. And, we experience birth, diseases, old age, and death. We go through what's known as the cycle of samsara, the cycle of birth and death. So this question of who am I, why am I here, and what is the purpose of life, this is actually the first sutra of a Sanskrit literature or Vedic literature or yoga text known as the Vedanta Sutra. Vedanta means the end of knowledge, and sutra means a string. So it's a very a sutra is a very short, pithy statement that is then unraveled, much like a piece of string is stretched out. So the first sutra, the Vedanta Sutra, is Om Athato Jignasa. Om Athato Brahma Jignasa. So Athato means now. Now is the time. Brahma means the absolute truth. And Jignasa means inquiry. So now is the time to inquire into the absolute truth. So the question is, why is now the time? It's because there is no time better than the present. This life is temporary. We don't know where we're going after this body is finished. We don't know that we'll even have a human form of life. We can, according to the yoga texts, one can take on a lower body, body of an animal. So animals are unable to inquire into the absolute truth. So now is the time. Don't put it off. Don't wait till you're older. Don't wait until you've got, more money in your bank account. Now is the time. Now is the time to inquire into the absolute truth. And so, just in this connection, I'd just like to read some verses from a yoga text known as the Srimad Bhagavatam. Srimad means beautiful. Bhagavatam means book of God. And so these texts were spoken by a person known as Hiranyakashipu, and he's quoting Yamaraj, or one of the devas or demigods, who was a small boy. He was speaking to some lamenting queens. There were some queens, their husband Suyagna had died on a battlefield. He'd been killed in battle. And his queens were there, and they were lamenting, deeply lamenting at the loss of their husband. And this conversation took place many millennia ago. And so as these queens were lamenting, this Yamaraja appeared as a small boy, and he spoke wisdom to them, yoga wisdom. So I'll just read these verses to you. And so the conversation's been going for a bit, and so we'll just pick up as this small boy begins to narrate a story. So he says, there was once a hunter who lured birds with food and captured them after spreading a net. He lived as if appointed by death personified as the killer of the birds. While wandering in the forest, the hunter saw a pair of kulinga birds. And so birds, of course, are generally always in pairs. If you look, you'll see there's generally always a mother and a father bird. And anyway, so there's a pair of kulinga birds. And of the two, the female was captivated by the hunter's lure. So hunters, they put out something that's attractive to birds. Birds are attractive to different things, a lure. And the bird was attracted to it and got caught in the hunter's net. O queens of Suyagna, the male Kalinga bird, seeing his wife put into the greatest danger in the grip of providence, became very unhappy. Because of affection, the poor bird, being unable to release her, began to lament for his wife. So you can imagine the unhappiness that the male bird felt. These two birds are very much in love. They have baby birds, and they're very happily flying around. But now the wife has fallen into this net of the hunter. So he begins to lament. Alas, how merciless is providence! My wife, unable to be helped by anyone, is in such an awkward position and lamenting for me. What will providence gain by taking away this poor bird? What will be the profit? If unkind providence takes away my wife, who is half my body, why should he not take me also? What is the use of my living with half of my body, bereaved by loss of my wife? What shall I gain in this way? The unfortunate baby birds, bereft of their mother, are waiting in the nest for her to feed them. They are still very small and have not yet grown their wings. How shall I be able to maintain them? So the male Kalinga bird is lamenting in this way. Because of the loss of his wife, the Kalinga bird lamented with tears in his eyes. Meanwhile, following the dictations of mature time, the hunter, who was very carefully hidden in the distance, released his arrow, which pierced the body of the Kalinga bird and killed him. So thus the male Kalinga bird is lamenting, and the hunter spending his time lamenting, not realizing that his own death is imminent. And then the hunter releases his arrow and kills the bird. So this is like death. We spend our time absorbed in different things, but death is waiting for us. And then the arrow of death is ready to come at any time. But meanwhile, we're distracted by other matters. We're putting off this truth. Thus, Yamaraj, in the guise of a small boy, told all the queens, "You are so foolish that you lament, but do not see your own death. Afflicted by a poor fund of knowledge, you do not know that even if you lament for your poor dead husband for hundreds of years, you will never get him back alive, and in the meantime, your lives will be finished." Hiranyakashipu said, while Yamaraja, in the form of a small boy, was instructing all the relatives surrounding the dead body of Suyagna, everyone was struck with wonder by his philosophical words. Thus, they could understand that everything material is temporary, not continuing to exist. So we should not be like the foolish Kalinga bird or the lamenting widows of Suyagna, lamenting and wasting our life while cruel death awaits us. We should be making a solution to the real problems of life and fulfill our eternal function. In other words, develop a loving relationship with Krishna, the Supreme Person, and all these parts and parcels. So we should engage in spiritual practices so that we can link up in union with the Supreme. This is the goal of life. This is the purpose of life. The purpose of life is not to get a bunch of stuff and to get money. Not that, of course, getting some money is okay, but it's not the goal of life to amass huge amounts of money. The goal of life is to achieve yoga or union with the Supreme. So chanting, engaging in kirtan, studying yoga wisdom, these yoga processes will purify your heart and mind and free you from material consciousness. And will take us from this material world, this world asat, this false and temporary world, and will take us to the spiritual world, to Vaikuntha, the world free of anxiety, which is made of Sat Chidananda, eternity, knowledge and bliss, and will enable you to experience real peace or shanti and happiness. So as I mentioned earlier, these practices are like a lifeline being thrown to us from the spiritual world. And if we grab hold of them, we'll be rescued from samsara, this wheel of birth and death. So thank you for listening. I hope you appreciate and will consider these words of yoga wisdom that I've received from my spiritual master and I'm passing on to you. I hope you shall consider them and take them seriously and realize the temporary nature of this world and realize that you are eternal and there is an eternal world where you should be, where you should reside. You should become free of this wheel of birth and death and take these transcendental sound, take hold of these transcendental sound vibrations and be transported to the spiritual world. So just some reminders, please see the schedule of events at Yoga Kirtan Hawai'i for dates and times of the different classes. So every Tuesday, 7 p.m., there's a live kirtan on Yoga Kirtan Hawai'i, Facebook Live, and actually more often than that right now. And a reminder, if you want to get a set of beads so you can do the Japa meditation, you can email us with your address to yogakirtanhawaii@gmail.com. I give a Bhagavad Gita class every fourth Sunday of the month at 7 p.m. Facebook Live. You're welcome to attend that. And so thank you very much for listening. And we'll do some more kirtan now for about 10 minutes. Thank you very much. Arigato, namaste.
Right.
Hare
joining us, and we'll see you again soon, I hope. Hare Krishna, Hari Bol.